Hello everyone, I just want to share with you what are the things to consider in acquiring a lot. Disclaimer lang po, these are just based on our experience ng asawa ko. And this is the front view of the lot na na-acquire namin just last February 9, 2023. It is 799 square meter to be exact, and my old house siya. And this is the back part of the lot. Ayan. The side part of the house. The question is, what are the factors to consider in buying a lot? Primary consideration talaga namin is malapit sa school kung saan namin papaaralin yung anak namin. But these are the other factors that we have to consider in buying a lot aside from the location. The cost, zoning restrictions, utilities, road access, and flooding. As I have said earlier, yung binili namin na lot is katapat talaga ng school. For the cost, you have to look at the selling price kung malapit lang ba siya sa fair market value or masyado siyang mahal. And aside from the selling price, you have also to consider the relevant taxes. We'll also share about this later. For the zoning restrictions, you have to make sure that there are no near dam sites or factories near your homes for your safety. And then of course, if you're buying a residential lot, you have to consider the utilities available such as electricity or power line and water supply line. Another factor you have to consider in acquiring a residential lot is a road access. You have to choose a lot or a place where you can easily access going in and out, a place near your work or an area where you can easily take public transportation if wala kayong sasakyan, and near your children's school. So ito yung pinili namin kasi malapit sa school. And as you can see, it is only 3-minute away ride from the municipal hall and 2-minute away ride from the public market. And lastly, you have to make sure that the area that you are acquiring is a flood-free area. And now, after looking all the factors that you have to consider, you have also to carefully check the following before acquiring the lot. You have to check the original certificate of title, tax declaration, real property tax, estate tax, zonal value, extrajudicial settlement of estate, and deed of sale. Number 1, you have to check the original certificate of title. It is a document evidencing a right of ownership to a property. It has to be recorded with the Registry of Deeds of the municipality, city, or province where the land is located. Check nyo din ang tax declaration. It is a document that shows a good sign of possession. It is not a conclusive evidence of ownership but only a proof of payment of realty tax. You can ask a tax declaration from the assessor's office of the municipality or city where the land is located. It may also shows the fair market value of the land. After getting a tax declaration from the assessor's office, you have now to check the real property tax payment of the property you are going to acquire. You can check this with the Treasury Office kung updated yung payment ng real property tax ng owner ng land na bibilhin nyo. Another relevant tax na dapat i-check or i-consider before entering into an absolute deed of sale is the estate tax. Estate tax is a tax on the right of the deceased person to transmit his or her estate to his or her lawful heirs and beneficiaries at the time of death. You have to check this with the BIR, lalo na if the owner of the land is yung asawa niya ay patay na and then may mga anak siya na inherited yung land. To have an idea how the BIR computed the estate tax due, you have to check the fair market value, and 50% of that fair market value is the basis for computing the state tax due. To compute the state tax due, it is not less than the 3% of the net estate tax. We should also have to check the zonal value of that particular property. Zonal valuation is an approved zonal schedule of the fair market values on real property used by the Bureau of Internal Revenue as basis for the computation of internal revenue taxes. Why is it that we have also to know the zonal value of the property? Because it is one of the bases kung paano i-compute yung capital gain tax of the property. So, aside from paying the real property tax and the estate tax if you have a parcel of land, you have also to pay the capital gains tax. Capital gains tax is a tax imposed on the gains presumed to have been realized by the seller from the sale, exchange, or other disposition of capital assets located in the Philippines, including pacto de retro sales and other forms of conditional sale. It is 6% of the fair market value or zonal value or selling price, whichever is higher. So, kung ang pinakamataas is the fair market value, so ang fair market value ang basis. If zonal value naman ang pinakamataas, so zonal value ang basis. And then if selling price ang pinakamataas, selling price ang basis. Another relevant taxes that you have to pay, especially in transferring the name of the certificate of title of the certain property, is the documentary stamp tax. It is a tax on documents, instruments, loan agreements, and papers evidencing the acceptance, assignment, sale, or transfer of an obligation, rights, or property incident thereto. It is 15 pesos for every 1,000 of the capital gains. Now, the question is who are going to pay these relevant taxes? In our experience, we agreed with the seller na dapat ang babayarin nila is the real property tax lang. It's primarily because akala namin yan lang yung taxes na babayaran if we have a land. Out knowing na meron pa palang estate tax and capital gains tax na dapat babayaran with the BIR. So after the seller paid the real property tax at the Treasury Office, we immediately go to the lawyer to execute the absolute deed of sale. Usapan namin with the seller, we have to shoulder kung ano yung mga gastusin in the transfer of the title. So, ang nangyari with our deed of sale is walang nakalagay na condition or no clear condition na ang dapat magbayad ng relevant taxes with the BIR is the seller. Kasi nga, wala kaming kaalam-alam na meron pa palang dapat babayaran. Lalo na if the property that you are going to buy is namana ng mga anak from their parents. But as what I have understand now with the definition of estate tax and the capital gains tax, dapat talaga ang mag-shoulder ng dalawang ito is the seller. And reality speaking, yung makabenefit ng increase ng value of the land from the moment it was acquired by the seller until it will be sold to you, sila yung makapag-benefit ng increase ng value. And I think it's fair with the buyer of the land na ang magbabayad ng BIR relevant taxes except with the documentary stamp tax is the seller talaga, yung owner ng land na binibili ng buyer. It still depends upon the agreement between the buyer and the seller, but it is really fair with the buyer to shoulder everything if updated ang lahat ng payments ng seller. Now, I'm going to share shortly about extrajudicial settlement of estate. One of the requirement before entering into a deed of sale, lalo na if the owner of the land is patay na yung asawa and mga anak is maghati-hati sa sale ng lupa nila. It can be made separately from the deed of sale or pwede rin isahin na yung document. So, dapat there is a physical appearance of all the heirs, special power of attorney for the deceased heir, photocopies of valid IDs for all the heirs including SPA holders or agent or attorney in fact. And finally, the signing of the deed of sale. So, it depends upon the agreement of the buyer and the seller kung saan sila magbabayaran, doon ba mismo sa attorney's office or sa labas na after the signing of the document. What happened last February 9 is malalayo yung magkakapatid na anak ng owner ng land na binili namin. So, doon na rin sila mismo nagpapagawa ng extrajudicial settlement of estate sa office ng attorney kung saan kami nagpapagawa ng deed of sale. I think it's advantage na rin on their part para isahan na yung lakad nila lalo na sa mga signatories. This time, wala pa talaga kaming idea ng asawa ko na after this day and when we process to transfer the certificate of title, meron pa kaming babayaran sa BIR na mga relevant taxes. Kaya tips lang para sa mga first-time buyer of flat or any property, look for a capable agent. For example, on our part, hindi pa kami masyadong familiar with the process. Dapat nag-consult muna kami ng agent or even lawyer para may idea kami. So, yun ang tingin namin na mag-asawa na lapses namin when deciding to buy or acquire this lot. And of course, you have to prepare your finances kasi hindi lang talaga selling prices yung pagbabayaran nyo. Especially if you agreed with your seller na kayo yung mag-shoulder lahat ng babayarin in the transfer of the certificate of title. And again, I am not a law student. These are just based on our experience. And that's all for this video. I hope you have learned something. Thanks for watching and please don't forget to subscribe.